Yes.
She take my money
When I'm in need,
She's a triplet.
friend indeed.
I
She's
think
a gold
gold
digger, way over town.
Are there mics on? I was just making sure because they're singing Gold Digger. We literally screamed Circle Two and y'all said, huh, let's sing. We're live, Dan. We are. We are.
He's gonna banter us
Okay.
out, and then I'll do matchup.
Okay.
Y'all are live. I don't know. Two minutes until we come to you. Hello, Victor.
102 to me.
Minute out.
I would put your thing behind. So it just doesn't look like you got like.
2, 1. B-dub.
It's homecoming week here at Murfreesboro, where the Blue Raiders are going to host a familiar foe who they used to play in Conference USA, the Marshall Thundering Herd. I'm your host, Ethan Williams, joined by Brett Walker and Devin Lockhart, and you're watching Blue Raider Extra Point. We're going to kick things right off into taking a look around Conference USA.
Package audio up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Week 4. With nearly a quarter of the regular season behind us, college football is flying by once again. Many fans are prematurely claiming conference titles, while others are quickly falling off the preseason hype train. While Conference USA matchups don't fully begin until next week, the race for the top 2 spots is already heating up. WKU and Louisiana Tech hold an early lead in the standings, while winless Sam Houston rounds out the rear. From the faltering Liberty Flames to the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, let's take a quick trip around this USA. If you traveled back in time to the 2023 Fiesta Bowl to tell a Liberty fan that in just 2 short years they'd be 1-2 to start the season with a CUSA loss, they'd likely lose their religion. Since joining the conference in 2023, no team has been as consistent as Liberty, going undefeated in league play in their inaugural season and earning a 4th place finish in 2024. But after a slow start this year, Flames fans aren't happy, with many taking to social media to self-proclaim head coach Jamie Chadwell on the hot seat. Liberty has a tall task this weekend, looking to right the ship against in-state foe James Madison, and if they don't, heads may start to roll in Lynchburg. As the Flames turn to ashes, Western Kentucky sits atop the conference standings. After falling to Jacksonville State in the CUSA Championship a year ago, head coach Tyson Helton appears to have reloaded the Hilltoppers, starting at QB. Quarterback Maverick McIver transferred in from FCS Abilene Christian and seems to be the next star WKU signal caller. Through 3 games, McIver leads all CUSA QBs with 10 touchdown passes, 4 more than second place. Hoping to redeem last week's loss to Toledo, McIver and the Hilltoppers play host to Nevada this weekend. While Liberty loses and WKU seems primed to conquer the conference, and the unpredictable CUSA is still too early to tell.
You know, Brett, you mentioned it, and we're going to talk about it more later, but man, what a disappointment Liberty's been this season so far. Not just them, but also Sam Houston. Sam Houston hasn't even won a game yet.
Yeah, these are 2 teams, Ethan, that are really at the top of the conference standings when you looked at the end of last year, and they are just both off to lackluster starts. Sam Houston is a little bit more understandable. They're under first-year head coach Phil Longo, having to kind of rebuild the program. But Liberty, it's almost just been unexcusable, the slow start they've had. But regardless, we've got tons of great CUSA matchups going on this week. Liberty, who we've talked about extensively already, is playing host to James Madison. They've got a tough task at home in Lynchburg. MTSU, the homecoming darling, of course, is hosting Marshall. Western Kentucky hosting MTSU's Week 3 foe, Nevada. Interesting to see how the Hilltoppers stack up against a team that MTSU walked off last week. FIU hosting Delaware in the Blue Hens' first game, CUSA game. La Tech hosting Southern Miss. UTEP playing in the Sun Bowl at home against UL Monroe. And Jack State hosting Murray State. So excited to see how these matchups shake out. Well, we're going to go to break real quick, and Devin is going to get us caught up with a scoop from Marshall's, the voice of the Thundering Herd.
The Stars come to Middle Tennessee State University, and students come here to become stars, no matter what they pursue. We're the only college of media and entertainment in the world, just outside the heart of Nashville.
Look, mic check, 1, 2, everybody listen. When you do it like this, ain't no competition. I'm talking B.I.G., VIP. Treat them like a front row seat and make them pay attention. If I shoot for the 3, then I ain't never missing. Cranking up the degrees like I was in the kitchen. Can't lose, got too much to prove. And when you do it all, it get too hard to do it.
Our curriculum and facilities are cutting edge, and our relationships with industry leaders give students an edge over the competition. Check it out. You can get real-world experience with degrees in recording industry, media arts, journalism and strategic media, and more. Media and entertainment at Middle Tennessee State University. Learn to shine.
Oh, you all right? Say hi to Becca for me.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for the extra delivery this week.
Welcome back to the beautiful campus of Middle Tennessee State University, where Ethan already mentioned it's homecoming week for the Blue Raiders. And before their matchup with Marshall today, our main man right here, Devin Lockhart, sat down with the radio voice of the Thundering Herd to give us the inside scoop on Marshall. Let's take a look.
Today we are joined by the voice of the Thundering Herd, Stephen Cotton, and let's just dive right into it. On the offensive side of things, what can we expect from this Thundering Herd team?
Well, your guess might be as good as mine at this point. Marshall's played 3 games and has started 3 different quarterbacks. We anticipate that Carlos Del Rio Wilson will be the guy to take the first snap this time out.
Let's flip things over onto the defense side of the ball. Couple standouts. You have a better defensive scheme than offensive scheme right now. What can we look forward to?
Main thing that's different that people will find interesting in watching this game is the base defense. It is a 3-3 stack. You never know where the 4th and maybe 5th pass rusher's coming from. They blitz from everywhere on the field. The defense usually doesn't tip it off very early. You hope, and you're going to be a blitzing defense. You know you're going to get burned from time to time. You just hope you make the other team pay more often than not. And that will be what's interesting to see.
That is all for the scoop this week. And don't forget to stay tuned next Blue Raider Extra Point for another edition of the scoop. Until then, have a great time. Back to the desk, y'all.
Some great stuff there, Devin, especially on the QB side for Marshall. Now, our host here today, Ethan Williams, gave us an inside scouting report to go along with the scoop on Marshall. Let's take a look.
The Blue Raiders are back in Floyd Stadium for homecoming, and they're aiming to get their first win at home since October of last year. But the Thundering Herd are rolling in and looking to rain on this homecoming parade. Marshall is in a little bit of a rebuild this year after they lost over 20 players to the transfer portal at the end of last season, and they've been struggling on both sides of the ball. Looking at their offense, the Herd will be limping into this game as they have struggled with injuries at key positions, and they will likely be missing their starting quarterback and several offensive linemen. But Marshall likes to keep the ball on the ground, splitting carries between their lead running backs Justin Williams-Thomas and Joshawn Barbie. The Thundering Herd averages 170 yards rushing per game and will try to force the ball down Middle's throat. However, through the air, they've struggled this year, as even in their 38-7 victory over Eastern Kentucky, they were only able to put up 114 total passing yards. The Herd's defense is their greatest strength. MTSU may struggle to run the ball against this mean green front seven, as they held Missouri State to a net 86 rushing yards and Eastern Kentucky to a net 11 rushing yards in their respective games. The Herd is going to try to force the Blue Raiders to put the ball in the air, something they've struggled to do so far this season. The Blue Raiders will need to keep an eye on Boogie Trotter, a senior defensive back who just transferred in from Tennessee State. Boogie has 2 interceptions on the season and will be looking to make a big play in today's game. The Blue Raiders also need to watch out for Kyrian Martin, a linebacker who's leading the Herd in tackles this season and can make plays all over the field. If the Blue Raiders want to win on homecoming night, they'll need to shut down the run, complete some passes, and get into a rhythm on offense. And earlier this week, there were some players questionable for Marshall. I mentioned some of their offensive linemen as well as their starting quarterback, but it looks like everybody's going to be A-OK and good to go to start out today's game, which could give the Blue Raiders some trouble.
Yes, definitely. They have a strong front line, both on the offense and defensive side, so look for that to be a struggle, especially for Nick Vattiato, and for him to stay disciplined tonight. It will be interesting. They have a really good defense.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a struggle there. Going to be a tall task for MTSU there today. Marshall's defense actually ranks 16th in the nation in tackles for loss, so it's definitely going to be a tall task there for them today. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a Blue Raider spotlight on a soccer player for MTSU who's also having herself a little bit of a homecoming.
I help people. I create music. I shape the future.
I am an entrepreneur.
I inspire people with more than words.
I ride forward.
The sky is not my limit.
Find your blue at MTSU.
Okay, Adam, let's get a quick mic check.
Yeah, sure. Blue Raider Extra Point is live at the Hall of Fame.
Hey, you and Dylan are gonna be on camera too this week, all right?
All right, got it.
Lightning! Hey, Lightning! You can come watch us.
Oh, is that lightning?
Hey, even better, why don't you come join us?
Oh, hey, Lightning, what's up?
Better yet, you can take Noah's spot.
The new host of Blue Raider Extra Point, the one, the only Lightning.
Oh, you all right? Say hi to Becca for me.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for the extra delivery this week.
Welcome back into Blue Raider Extra Point. College Game Day done the Murfreesboro way. And before we boot it away here on the football field later today, we're going to a different pitch and talk about a homecoming as Hannah Delaney describes hers.
I mean, you could tell that she was a special player. Hannah actually was playing for a boys team down in Smyrna, Tennessee, and I was coaching another player at the time who lived across the street from Hannah, and they actually told her to come over here to Murfreesboro Soccer Club back in the day before we became King's Hammer, and she came over and joined our team.
From the club program at King's Hammer to Stewart's Creek High School, Hannah Delaney continues to have a local connection with soccer programs around Middle Tennessee.
And it doesn't hurt that I've got a lot of siblings, so I've still got siblings that go to Stewart's Creek High School. My sister Lil plays soccer there. Being able to watch my sister play, it's weird because I played in that same field. I had that same uniform, and so it's really cool to be able to see her following in my footsteps, and hopefully playing college soccer as well one day.
When it was Hannah's time to make a college decision, the defender chose to go down to Chattanooga and play for the Mocs. After 3 years though, life decided it was time for her to return to Murfreesboro.
I reached out this past winter to Coach Aston when transfer portal opened up and said, hey, look, I'm looking to move back, so I'm getting married. Would you have a spot for me on your team? And he said yes. And so the team just completely welcomed me. I'm playing not only in front of my own family, but against friends and people from the community that just want to support the team. So it's really the community that makes everything so great.
An appreciation has grown with Hannah since coming back to Murfreesboro, now being the representation of a hometown player excelling at the next level.
Getting to go out there and see a local player playing for a good D1 school like MTSU, it gives them something to look forward to, and gives them a goal, something they want to go play for, a school they want to play for.
Yeah, good stuff from Jacob there on Hannah Delaney. MTSU soccer actually off to a pretty strong start this year. They began conference play against Jacksonville State here in Murfreesboro tomorrow at Dean A. Hayes Track Memorial Stadium. So we encourage everybody to go out and see the Blue Raiders take the pitch after they take the field here today.
Yeah, and the Blue Raiders could cause some trouble in Conference USA, both in football and soccer, once we start hitting this conference schedule. But we're going to head to break here, and be sure to stay tuned to Blue Raider Extra Point, because we got our keys to succeed right now, actually. We'll start over there with you, Brett. What's your key to succeed?
Yeah, Ethan, I got 3 things for you here today, and the first one is create more opportunities for the MTSU offense. You saw on the screen right there, MTSU safety Jawan Gaston, 2 huge picks last week against Nevada to give the Blue Raider offense opportunities late, and MTSU was able to convert that into a game-winning touchdown with just seconds to play on the road against the Wolfpack. So this This is the MTSU offense that has struggled heavily in these first couple of games, so they need all the help that they can get, and that means extra possessions. And secondly, stay consistent on defense of your MTSU. You saw their defensive line just blew up the Wolfpack all night long, or all game long last week, and so they've really made a huge impact and just been a strength of the team to this point. Now you got to spread the love for my last key. MTSU was able to convert on a game-winning drive last week. Nick Vadiato spread the ball around on that last drive. 5 different receivers. They went up tempo. They seemed to finally be in a rhythm that offensive coordinator Bodie Reeder could respect last week on that game-winning drive. So if they're going to find more success against Marshall here today, then that's what they're going to need to do.
Yeah, so for my keys to succeed, it's have a strong front defensive line and go and get out to a strong and fast start. As you see right there, great sack. Marshall's known for a strong line, especially offensive line, but they have to come in, defend their home turf, and make a statement. I need a big gain by number 95, Zion. He only had 1 sack last week, but he penetrated the backfield hugely, and he has to come up and finish the job. Second, find one-on-one opportunities. They had success in the first half versus Wisconsin with Cox. Finding that one-on-one opportunity. Patience with letting the play develop and then finding that one-on-one opportunity will be key for Vadiato. And using the game to develop and taking advantage of the one-on-one opportunities later. Finally, keep driving the legs and finish the play. Play through the whistle, get yards.
And my keys to succeed, the first one is just you got to stop the run. Marshall is not very good at throwing the football, and they're going to run it, whether it be with their quarterback or their running back. And so MTSU has a mean front seven. Marshall does too, but MTSU needs to shut down the run if they want to walk out of here with a win on homecoming night. My next key to succeed is, well, they just got to complete some passes. All season long, it seemed like the quarterback, Nick Vadiato, has been just a little out of sync with his receivers, maybe doesn't have the greatest connection with them. We've seen some overthrown balls. We've seen some miscommunication on some plays that's led to just quite a few incompletions. And if MTSU wants to start moving the ball, they're going to have more plays like what you're seeing on the screen right here, the connection to Najee Cox that goes in for a touchdown. And lastly, MTSU just needs to have explosive plays in general, whether it be through the air or on the ground. MTSU's really struggled on offense this year, having several 3-and-outs, and so some big runs or some big passes could really benefit the Blue Raiders in today's game. And so now we're going to head into break here, as be sure to stay tuned, because coming up we have the picks as well as a very special guest, someone you might recognize if you turned into the show last year. We'll be right back here on Blue Raider Extra Point.
You and Dylan are going to be on camera too this week, all right?
All right, got it.
Lightning, hey, Lightning, you can come watch us.
Oh, is that Lightning?
Hey, even better, why don't you come join us?
Oh, hey, Lightning, what's up?
Better yet, you can take Noah's spot.
The new host of Blue Raider Extra Point, the one, the only Lightning.
We do it. The stars come to Middle Tennessee State University, and students come here to become stars, no matter what they pursue.
Hey, cut.
We do it all. We're the only college of media and entertainment in the world, just outside the heart of Nashville.
Look, mic check, 1, 2, everybody listen. When you do it like this, ain't no competition. I'm talking B.I.G., VIP. Treat them like a front row seat and make them pay attention. If I shoot for the 3, then I ain't never missing. Cranking up the degrees like I was in the kitchen. Can't lose, got too much to prove. And when you do it all, it gets too hard to do it.
Our curriculum and facilities are cutting edge, and our relationships with industry leaders give students an edge over the competition. Check it out. You can get real-world experience with degrees in recording industry, media arts, journalism and strategic media, and more. Media and entertainment at Middle Tennessee State University. Learn to shine.
Welcome back to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where it's homecoming night, and our special guest is having a little bit of a homecoming of his own. We have Dylan Simmons, the voice for Rooster 105.1, MTSU alumni. And Dylan, you were sitting in this seat that I am right now. This time last year, you went off, got a great job in South Dakota, but you're back in Middle Tennessee. What can you tell us about why you decided to come back?
Man, I'll tell you what, there is nothing quite like MTSU being a part of this great university, this great campus, with great people like you guys. And I had the great opportunity, like you mentioned, to be the host of Blue Raider Extra Point for a number of years. I think it's the best show out there, and I felt like the culture, the people, it was just too much for me to miss out on, and I felt like I could take that next step as a broadcaster in person. So it brought me back here to MTSU, and I'm excited for a great day of football action.
Yeah, and we're going to go ahead and start moving into our picks, my favorite segment, the picks. We're going to start with you, Dylan, then we're going to go to Brett, Dylan, and then me. So we're going to start off James Madison versus Liberty. Who do you got, Dylan?
Well, I'll tell you what, Ethan, the Flames are on thin ice for me after the start to the year they've had. Losses to Bowling Green and Jacksonville State already, and the offense has not looked explosive. They've been about as explosive as a homemade volcano science project, at least by my standards anyway. Turnovers have been a huge issue as well, 4 below in that department. JMU, a bit of a mystery team, right? They've only played 2 games so far, but kept it close with Louisville. I think they've got a great defense that'll be enough to beat to beat Liberty 37-20. James Madison.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep going with a James Madison train here, Dylan. Liberty, I'm just burnt out with them, to be completely honest with you. I've already, aired my grievances with them earlier in the show, so I won't pile it on, but they just really haven't looked like the team that Jamie Chadwell has built last year and what Hugh Freeze's recruits were a part of in years past. So I know the fans themselves are still pretty upset about how the way this season has gone so far. Now, they can turn it around with a win today, but I don't think they will. So I think James Madison's going to go in there into Lynchburg and get the win, and the Flames are going to continue with their struggles.
So I believe you said in your package earlier that Liberty is going to lose their religion, and
I cannot confirm or deny.
I'm going with you too. James Madison is a little bit more dominant. Both teams haven't been as dominant as the years previously. Liberty had in 2024 423 yards per average per game through 3 games, where James Madison only more than 426. So give me the JMU Bulldogs to strike early and continue.
I agree with you. I agree with all of you. I think James Madison's going to walk out of Lynchburg with a win. The Flames aren't what they used to be, and we're looking at a team that last year was in contention for a conference title, now maybe being somewhere in the middle of the pack. And James Madison, they're talking about them going to the playoffs. So I think this is just going to be a very big mismatch here. So I'm taking the Dukes over the Flames in today's game. All right, and going on, our next game is going to be against Conference USA newcomer Delaware and Florida International. Dylan, we'll start with you.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Conference USA Delaware. Shout out Joe Flacco's old school privilege to be able to pick a game of theirs. And shout out Nick Minicucci as well, already with 847 passing yards on the season through just 3 games. That OT win last week against UConn was sensational. Their only loss to Deion Sanders in Colorado so far. FIU, they're also on a bit of a redemption run. A win over Florida Atlantic last week, 585 rushing yards as a team. Keyshawn Owens looking like a beast so far. I think this is going to be an offensive shootout that gives Delaware a victory. Give me the Blue Hens 33-30.
I have to agree with you on one of those things, Dylan, and that is just that Delaware, if there have been anything since joining CUSA, they've just been plain old-fashioned fun. Watching the Blue Hens compete early on here in CUSA, they took UConn into overtime and got the W last week. They've just been great to watch so far, and I think they're going to do great things in CUSA, maybe even this season and in the future. But I really like what FIU has done so far this season. Their only loss on the year is to Penn State during a whiteout game. So just really like what head coach Willie Simmons has done in his first year there, and so I'm picking the Panthers today.
Yeah, so for me, the big thing is they won awesome in OT last week against UConn. They're still on that high. FIU shows them, blows them out in the first half. Delaware comes back, welcomes themselves into Conference USA, shocks them in the 3:05 at Pitbull Stadium. Delaware wins in overtime.
So you've already simulated the game. This is some crazy prediction stuff.
Got it down to a science.
So my pick, I'm going to go with the FIU Panthers to swat down the Hens. And the Blue Hens are fun to watch, but I mean, it's going to be hard to come up to the FBS level and have continued success. We've seen that. Some teams have gotten off better than others, but this first season is going to be pretty rough for them, and so I'm taking the Panthers. Heading on into our next game, Dylan, it's going to be Southern Miss versus Louisiana Tech. Who do you got in that one?
Well, you know, Ethan, I've been known to delve out the old hot take or two, and I may have one here for you guys. I think Louisiana Tech might be one of the sleepers in CUSA. A blowout win over conference opponent New Mexico State last week, held it close with LSU as well. Southern Miss has a tremendous offense. They've scored 38 points the last 2 weeks. Unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. I think Golden Eagles get it, 27-17.
Guys, I'll be the first to admit that I've been covering the MTSU football in Conference USA for almost 2 years now, and this whole time I've just been a Louisiana Tech doubter. Last year, whenever MTSU went down to Ruston, I felt confident that the Blue Raiders were going to turn things around with a win, and they absolutely didn't. Sonny Cumbie's group just laid in there with them and gave them one of their losses, of the worst losses of the season. But I'm still going to keep drinking the haterade. I don't think Louisiana Tech gets it done. I think they compete for the conference title later on in the year, but give me Southern Miss in the upset here today.
So Southern Miss has been rolling. They lost in a close one to Mississippi State. Mississippi State turned around next week and beat the number 12 team in the nation. Defensive line-wise, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles will not allow Baker to run, and the defensive line causes many sacks. Louisiana Tech does not have Phil Robertson anymore. Give me the Southern Miss Golden Eagles to roll and pick up the win.
And you know, these two teams are going to be playing each other a lot here soon, as Louisiana Tech's leaving Conference USA to go into the Sun Belt with Southern Miss. But this is a series that I see the Golden Eagles dominating, and they're just in much better conference, much better competition, and a lot tougher of a team than I believe Louisiana Tech is. Now, Louisiana Tech can surprise us a little bit here and there, but I got the Southern Miss Golden Eagles taking home the win in this one. And so our last game, our biggest game, is going to be MTSU versus Marshall. It's homecoming, Dylan. Who do you got in this one?
Well, Ethan, homecoming is always a special time for everyone, and there are a lot of reasons to love this area, but moments like these really bring it full circle. When you are surrounded by friends and family, it makes you realize just how far you've come. And it also gives you a hunger to perform. And as Derek Mason would say, MTSU is going to have that hunger today and eat the good bones of the Marshall Thundering Herd. Give me the Blue Raiders to win 41-26.
I'm going to keep the Blue Raider train rolling here in the next for the next pick. I think that they pick up their start their first winning streak of the Derek Mason era here today. It's kind of crazy to sit here and say that they haven't won consecutive games since he's been the head coach.
Yep.
But I think that it happens today. It's going to be close, low scoring. Two teams that have really struggled offensively, but I think MTSU gets it done here on homecoming.
MTSU's defensive line is strong, but not as strong as the Marshall Thundering Herd's offensive line. The issue is Marshall has too many questions, and MTSU has a lot of veteran leadership, but they have to step up. If they step up, which I do think they will, I do think MTSU will walk away with a win. Marshall may get a touchdown, but defensive line steps up big, MTSU.
So I think this is going to be a really sloppy game because both of these teams have really good front sevens and pretty poor passing attacks. But I'm thinking we might see another 7-3 win without a touchdown being scored, if you can do the math. But I do have the Blue Raiders walking out of homecoming with a win today. They had a pretty good crowd for their first home game against Austin Peay, and I think we'll see some of that more here. And the offense is really starting to get a groove as opposed to how they were in the Austin Peay game. So give me the Blue Raiders over the Marshall Thundering Herd on homecoming. And so now, if you've missed this or any of our shows, you can go to our social media. It is at MTN Sports on YouTube, X, at MTN Sports 1, at Middle Tennessee News on TikTok, and _MTN Sports on Instagram. I've been your host, Ethan Williams, joined by Dylan Simmons, Devin Lockhart, and Brett Walker. And for me and everyone else that's been able to make this show a possibility, we'll see you at the game.
I help people.
I create music. I shape the future.
I am an entrepreneur. I inspire people with more than words.
I ride forward. The sky is not my limit.
Find your blue at MTSU.